Hi, Dime Divas and Dime Daddies. This is Rachel the Dime Diva, and welcome to episode 10 of Dime Life. So, I'm trying out a ring light today and a different aspect ratio for my camera. And so, let me know what you guys think in the comments. We are upgrading in every way possible here. In all areas. So, this is exciting and fun for me to serve y'all, my audience, with better audio quality, better visual quality, and God willing, just a better quality of show to assist you in your life journey. So, this is a heavy topic today, so buckle up. But I think it's not only heavy, but it's redemptive. And today's topic is going to be overcoming bullying and the fear of being perceived. So, in today's day and age, I know a lot of us are wanting to express ourselves, speak our truth, be who we really are publicly, whether that be, things that I've done in the past year, coming out about my sexuality, establishing a social media presence, opening up about who I really am in my style, in my self expression outwardly. These are things that a lot of us want to do, but there's a barrier for many of us to truly expressing ourselves around other human beings and taking off that mask of what we feel will be acceptable to society. And a big part of that, I believe, comes from others in our lives coming in and discouraging us when we were trying to show up and spread our wings and come out of our shells. So, I want to share today my bullying story and um, what made me really decide that I don't care anymore. I don't care. I'm gonna just do me. So this is gonna be a story about um, three characters, three characters that are all me. So in therapy, in cognitive behavioral therapy, there is a strain of therapy, a school of thought called parts work. And in parts work, it's basically a way for people to connect with their different facets of their personalities, different facets of themselves, and embrace all of them. So for me, part of my parts work is naming and accepting different parts of me. So my inner critic, the person who likes to just doop, 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 and be mean and critical of me, her name is Bertha, Big Bertha. My inner kid, my inner child is named Ray Ray because that was my nickname when I was a kid. My inner tween, so like 9 to 12 years old, is named R Dizzle because she was a little thug and wild. My inner teen is named Tiffany, and I named her that because I always wanted Tiffany jewelry at that age. Um, and it was a really popular name with my classmates too. And then me after high school and into my college years is Rachel. And I feel like I'm still her, but I am an elevated version of her. Now, the transition from R Dizzle, who didn't give a care in the world about what anybody thought, to Tiffany. That is where the bullying happened. And that is where I began to have a fear of showing up strongly as myself. So I would say in my late elementary school and in my middle school years, I was extremely embodied. I was aware of how I felt about things. I was aware of my preferences. I liked to push the edges. Um, I was the type where like I would try to, when I got my first cell phone in middle school, I would try to put rap songs as my ringtone. But then my mom would come in and tell me that I had to change my ringtone. I would try to get these graphic tees from like PacSun or Urban Outfitters that would have little like innuendos on them and little jokes and puns. And then my mom would be like, no, that's inappropriate. So I was being stifled. I was having my personality stifled. Um, and in addition to my personality being stifled at home, I was also being bullied at school. So right around 10th grade, um, the bullying got to a boiling point. And I think it was because Tiffany was starting, my inner self, who was a teenager, she was starting to really come into her own and develop a extremely magnetic social charisma that was noticeable to all. Okay. I was a straight A student. I was very pretty. I was popular with boys. And I had a great group of girlfriends. Plus, I came from a family where my parents were both attorneys. My family was relatively well off. And a lot of people would look on the outside and think, oh, her life is perfect. What I didn't understand and what I wasn't prepared for was that when you have a life that looks like that, when you have a life that looks abundant, when you have a life that looks favored, when you have a life that looks lucky, it's going to attract haters. And I think that's why a lot of people are scared to live out loud or scared to live in their abundance or scared to live in the fullness of their awesomeness, is because they know that people are going to hate on them and they're going to be mean. So for me, the bullying looked like having people take photos of me at school and post them on the internet. This was before social media was even really a thing, but they would be on like Blogspot, LiveJournal, people's aim away messages, etc. So it also involved rumor campaigns about me and my boyfriends. So people would speculate and talk about me and my boyfriends in high school having sex when I didn't have sex until I was 25 years old. And I think that, all of those things were really hurtful. But the thing that was the most hurtful about the bullying was the up close and personal nature of the attacks. So one of my main bullies in high school was a young girl who wanted my boyfriend at the time and who eventually got him. Like she won the competition, as we talked about in the last episode. She won the competition for this boy. Now, mind you, no 15, 16-year-old is going to be immune from heartbreak when their first boyfriend is breaking up with them. But instead of being met with compassion or mercy by this girl who had in effect stolen my boyfriend, she literally ran down the hallway in one of our buildings. I will never forget it. We had a building called the Blue Building, the Green Building, and the Orange Building. They were all painted those colors on the inside. My locker was in the Orange Building. And I'll never forget this day. She ran or skipped down the hallway in the Orange Building singing, "Ding dong, the witch is dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead," because my boyfriend had broken up with me. And it was just a devastating feeling because she had never had a conversation before with me. She didn't know me. And I think that's the difficult thing about being somebody with high visibility, is that people who don't even know you project their ideas onto you and create these narratives about you in their mind. and they've never even had a conversation with you before. You know, I went to school with this girl from 6th grade to 12th grade, and never once did we have a conversation. She never took the time to get to know me. And I never took the time to get to know her, but also I wasn't checking for her. I wasn't making fun of her. I wasn't posting pictures of her online, you know? So if we're going to ignore each other, then let's just ignore each other versus you not getting to know me, but then also deciding to bring a campaign of terror against me. But I think this young girl, you know, she was a teenager at the time. She was working with her shadow self at the time, and I don't hold that against her to this day. But what I will say is she's a representation of what a lot of us are trying to avoid by staying hidden and putting a mask on and staying in the shadows. So, you know, this is when my inner teenager, who I call Tiffany, my inner teenager began to put on this armor, this shell, saying, hey, if people are going to dislike me anyway, if people are going to project onto me anyway, then I'm going to become so perfect and unassailable that no matter what kind of attack you try to bring against me, it's going to be provably false because I live my life perfectly. So I became an extreme perfectionist. I decided that no one is ever going to catch me slipping. I'm not going to make mistakes. I'm going to live my life by the book according to you know, how to live life, how I was taught to live life by my parents. Now, this bullying combined with the stifling of my true personality by my parents, and particularly my mom in my childhood, led to me becoming extremely rigid and extremely rule oriented and very caged off and shut down for the remainder of my high school years, through my college years, and up until I had my daughter. I was just be perfect. You can never get criticized. Don't show yourself. Keep your circle small. Stay under the radar. And there would be times where my magnetism and my strength and my power was undeniable. And I would be chosen for leadership positions, whether that be in my church groups or in law school or other endeavors that I took during those years. But I never showed up in a way where people could truly find me and judge me. I rarely ever posted on social media or even looked on social media. I did not continue with my creative endeavors. I had an idea for hoops, helmets, and heels in my early 20s. I had also had an idea for a book series in my early 20s, and I shut both of those down. Now I thank God because, you know, it's been 15 years and those things have now been brought back around. So that's the beautiful thing about God and the universe and life, in my opinion, is that no matter how wonky the road is, no matter if you say no to an opportunity, it will come back around. So it might look a little different. So for me, having a blog was replaced by now wanting to do a podcast slash YouTube show. And having, you know, my book series that I was originally writing has now been updated to a romance book series that I'm writing. Surprise! But saying all that to say, I think a major reason why in my early 20s I didn't take on that those ideas, I didn't run with them, was because I was afraid of being seen. I was afraid of being perceived. So now that you guys understand a little bit about my bullying story and a little bit about my childhood and why some of the reasons why I had trouble with showing my true self and wanting to be perceived or not wanting to be perceived, I'll share with you just a quick backstory of how I overcame that and became confident to use my voice, to speak up, to start welcoming more eyes on me in the form of followers on my YouTube channels, my Instagram, my Facebook, and all of my threads. I'm now welcoming people to come hear what I have to say and to share my heart with them authentically without the mask on. So, how did I get there? 2 words: self acceptance. You see, being told at, you know, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old that who you are is too much. Who you are is not okay. Who you are is sinful. Who you are is out of line. All of those things made me feel that there was something wrong with me. And then the bullying just confirmed that. Because truly, I was just being myself. I was kind to everyone that I tried my best to be. I never bullied anybody. I was simply just living my life as a smart, beautiful, privileged woman who seemed happy and in love with her life. And that made another young girl mad and made her feel like she wanted to try to tear me down. And seeing that and having this girl literally in my face just spewing negativity at me, it caused me to feel again, there must be something wrong with me, and I need to take myself out of the mix and I need to be off the radar in order to keep myself safe. Basically, to me, popularity was the antithesis of safety, because as I began to gain notoriety throughout my school, as I began to be more known by dating a popular athlete, I then started to have hate come at me. So I was not only getting the message that there's something wrong with me, but I need to try not to be seen. So self-acceptance was the key for me because it allowed me to see, number one, there's nothing wrong with me, and number two, if um if I don't care, or if I have my own back and I'm accepting myself totally and I know I have myself, excuse my French, but I don't give a fuck what anybody else has to say. I don't give a fuck. So it really came down to, are you willing to now be your own ally, Rachel? Are you willing to now be your own number one fan? Are you able to admit that you are your favorite person? You are your favorite girl. Because if I can be my favorite person, then maybe I'll be somebody's favorite podcaster. Maybe I'll be somebody's favorite author. Maybe I'll be somebody's favorite content creator. Maybe I'll be somebody's favorite attorney. Maybe I will be somebody's choice for their romantic partner. But even if I'm not, then I know that I'm my favorite. So self-acceptance is the antidote to the fear of being perceived. Because once you have that self-validation and know that you are good no matter what, nobody is going to be able to take that from you. You know, I've had dreams before that I was in the movie Never Been Kissed. That's a movie with Drew Barrymore where she's a grown woman and she goes back to high school and undercover and she gets to like relive her high school days. I've had dreams of that before because it's almost like Tiffany, my high school self, wants me to go back and like throw bows and like stand up for her with the mean girls who decided that they wanted to bully me. And there's been times that, you know, I've wanted to be upset with my mom and say that, you know, it wasn't fair that you weren't allowing me to express myself in these ways that literally I wasn't hurting anyone. Having a rap song on my voicemail wasn't hurting anybody. Having a t-shirt that said Idaho, no Idaho, that wasn't hurting anyone. That was really, in my opinion, her pride coming in because she wanted her daughters to present a certain way. But just like it wasn't fair for my bullies to bully me, and it wasn't fair for my mom to stifle me, it's okay because just as those things were unfair, I also have unfair levels of favor and blessing on my life. And God has just used those situations to teach me the value of not looking for validation outside of myself. If I hadn't gone through those things, I wouldn't know how it feels to feel rejected and to say, I'm never going to give another person the power to do that to me. Now, y'all know, if you've watched my previous episodes of Dime Life, my story of going through my divorce, having to deal with the aftermath of, starting my own life all over again. But it was truly that experience that gave me the motivation to go through the hard work of developing self acceptance. Because I realized that I couldn't keep living for what I thought other people wanted from me anymore. Going through that divorce, leaving that marriage, going outside of what I felt that at the time my church teachings and my family history and all of those things, going outside of what society put on me as the preferred way to live life, that really set me free. Because ultimately, what can man do to me? Y'all aren't paying my bills. Y'all are not going to live life for me. And so if you don't care, that's on you. Now, it took me years to get here. I really feel like I started this journey in 2020, and it's now 2026. And I'm just now getting to the point of comfort with sharing my voice, sharing my story, showing up online. But guess what? The beauty of it is when you've been bullied face to face by somebody who's literally like taking pictures of you in class and posting them on the internet, an online troll means nothing. Like, I've been bullied by real people. When you've been told that you are, too much and unacceptable and out of line and not in line with God's word, when you've been told that by your own mom, somebody telling you that online means nothing. And so I am all about reconciliation. And so I'm not holding grudges against the people that have hurt me and felt like it wasn't safe to be me. However, I do take that into account when it comes to how I navigate our relationships now. That's just the honest truth. And I know that I'm going to protect my own sense of self first and foremost. That's the most important thing to me now. Now that I love myself, I'll never do anything to compromise that relationship with me. Well, I feel like that's a good place to end it for today. Thanks for letting me share this part of my heart and share the intimate details of, the parts of me inside and how I came to be who I am today. I hope that it can help you to really take some time to think about if you're holding yourself back in any way or if you're scared to show up in this world. Could it be that your fear of being perceived is rooted in what other people have put into you? And can you turn down that noise and turn up the volume of what's actually within your heart and know that you are absolutely worthy to be seen as you truly are? And once you start to show yourself, your tribe will start to surround you. Well, that's all for today. I hope y'all enjoyed this latest episode of Dime Life, and I will talk to y'all next time. Love you.